What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 50 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. I'm Dave Knittel here, as always, with my brothers Christian and Matt. Christian, you want to say hello to all the YouTubers out there?
Hi, YouTubers.
Oh, it's going to be a good podcast, everyone. Matt, how are you doing? Or just say hello. I'll ask you how you're doing when we start recording. So say hello.
Fine.
Dave
Hello.
doesn't give a fuck how you're doing.
Hello. Yeah, I have on my Mainz scarf along with my fan futsal shirt. I don't know if you guys saw. Did you guys see the Mainz goalkeeper this weekend?
Yeah.
Who mistook the penalty spot for the ball, Christian?
No.
Hilarious.
He
I'll
sent
send it to you.
He sent it in to us over text.
Yep, I know. You guys don't. You guys look at about half the text that I send. I get it.
I retweeted it like
You're just too active.
5
Dave.
hours before you sent it, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. But you didn't
I
send
don't
it to
even
me.
know where it was. When did you
Yeah, but
send
you should
this?
be checking my Twitter at all times.
Okay. All right. Watchers, all right, we're going to jump right into things here. So get excited because I know I'm excited. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 50 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. I am Dave. Oh, Christian, it's tough to do that when you're making faces, so I'm sorry.
You don't have to look at me. Look
Yeah,
away.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna look away. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 50 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. As always, my name is Dave Kindle, and I'm here with my brothers Christian and Matt to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, how you doing today?
Dave, it's been a rough one. I'm making it through though.
Yeah, you had an incident last night while you were driving, but luckily you're safe, and that's all that matters, right?
I guess so. It still was rough.
Yes, it was. But yeah, for those, yes. So it's okay.
I just want everybody out there to know that I understand why people hate deer. I understand now.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yep.
hit it last night?
Yeah, it was really bad. It was
Oh
not
my!
good.
I did too.
Yeah, I hit it on 476, so I hit it at speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
For anyone out there who may not know, that is Matt chiming in here. Matt, how are you doing? Say hello.
I'm doing well, Dave. Thanks for asking. I'm pretty tired. I had to drive back up to school late last night, and then I wanted to watch Game of Thrones, and then next thing you know, it's 4 a.m.
I know that game.
Yeah.
I know that game. I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for asking. I had a pretty relaxing weekend. No incidents with deer, not a ton of driving, and yeah, wasn't up too late. I was up probably till 1 a.m. watching The Office with my wife on Friday night. So it was a pretty good Friday night. But beyond that, nothing too much. So with that, let's get into the podcast here. Christian, do you have our trivia question for the week?
I do have the trivia question this week, Dave. Thank you for asking. My trivia question this week, I don't know if you guys are going to know it, so I'm going to preface that because it's been out there pretty significantly. But do you guys know Jose Mourinho's record in the last 10 away games against the top 6?
No. So
Okay. Matt, do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. In his last 10 away games, how many goals for and goals against has Mourinho given up and scored?
Okay. So we will think on that. Listeners, you think as well. We'll give our guesses at the end. You'll give your guesses as well. We just won't hear them. And then Christian will give us the actual answer. So stick with us through that. Before we get into the topics here, I wanted to give 2 quick mentions for some soccer-related things. Mentioned it last week, but these guys, they're called the Lads, so the Loud Americans Discussing Soccer, have a podcast. They're 2 guys from Philly talking mainly EPL type stuff, but they're really funny. I found them a couple of weeks ago and have been enjoying listening to them and their podcast. So definitely go check them out. Again, it's Lads, LADS podcast, and you can find them on Twitter at LADS_podcast. Additionally, wanted to give a quick plug for my startup, which is Fan Futsal. So I'm the founder of Fan Futsal, which is a simplified fantasy soccer website. So really what we're trying to do is make it simpler to play fantasy soccer and appeal to all soccer fans. And we do that by having you select 5 clubs instead of 8 to 11 individual players. And we've simplified the scoring to make it much easier for you to follow match scores, to follow fantasy scores, because we tie the fantasy scoring to match scores. So check that out. We have a new feature we just rolled out where you can play in tournaments that are styled like the World Cup. So a group group stage and then progressing to a knockout round. So definitely go check that out at fanfutsal.com today. That, let's get into our topics for the week. And the first topic we wanted to talk about was some more details came out about the Global Nations League or World League, whatever you want to call it. I've talked about it on previous podcasts. Basically, FIFA is looking at doing away with friendlies and implementing these competitive matches at the international stage and breaking countries into divisions and having basically competitive matches instead of just wasting everyone's time with friendlies. Some more details came out. What's going to happen is each confederation is going to have their own sort of qualifying tournament, and at the end, there's going to be 7 different divisions, and each division will have a playoff, so to speak, where the top 8 countries in the world in each division will partake in a tournament. Christian, what do you think about this? I know we had discussed it previously, but now having some more details, what do you think about this concept?
I still don't know if I'm sold on the concept completely. I like the idea of doing away with friendlies. I think on one hand, playing a friendly does help just test out your players, but on the other hand, playing competitive soccer is really what you need to be doing at every moment at this level. International level is really, it's seen as the highest level, even though, in my opinion, I think the Champions League in Europe is probably the highest level now. I think it overtook international play. But
I'd agree with that.
To get international play back on that level, introducing a league like this is really going to help. But to do it this way, where the top 8, you said the top 8 teams from each, or top team, I guess, from each of the confederations,
I think
Europe, one league.
No, so the way that it works is every confederation, so UEFA, which is Europe, CONCACAF, which is North America, CONMEBOL, South America, they each would have their own sort of tournaments throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, this would be in odd-numbered years. The end of the year, the top teams from each confederation would then go into like basically a World Cup style 8-team tournament. UEFA gets 3 teams. CONCACAF gets 1 team. I think all the other confederations get 1 team except for CONMEBOL gets 2 teams. And Oceania doesn't get any teams.
Wow.
Yeah. They don't get them in the top division. I should say that structure is for the top division.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That's where all the top level teams are anyway. I would say Europe and CONMEBOL do have over 50% of the best players in the world, probably. So I don't have a problem with this setup that way. I just still don't know if I agree. I guess it all does come down to wins and losses in a year, and that's the only way you can measure. But I still don't think that it takes into account the quality of the team. It takes into account the form in this type of format. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they implement this.
Okay. Matt, what do you think about just now understanding some more details about it?
I think it's going to be a good thing to increase like the competitiveness of all international matches. Like each or pretty much every game that you play now, when you get called up to a national team, is going to be an important match where you have to perform at the highest level. And I think to be on the national team, you have to perform at the highest level. So I think just like this competitive style tournament is only going to enhance the style of play and just the quality of the games.
Absolutely. And for those that may not know, there is a promotion and relegation aspect of this. So say the United States is in the top division and for whatever reason they underperform like they did in the World Cup qualifying cycle, they may drop them down to a second division where they may not play against as strong of competition. So there's incentive to keep doing well. Again, I like the concept of all of this. I really like it. Where it falls down, or I still need more details, is understanding how the qualifying is going to work in each confederation, because it may be that only the U.S. and Mexico are Division 1 from a World League standpoint. So, like, are we just going to be playing Mexico, or are we going to be playing Division 2 teams within our confederation? So, like, I'm just still confused about how it's all going to logistically work, but I'm really for this concept, and I really like, understanding that kind of in a mini World Cup style thing, you get a couple countries from each confederation basically playing in a world tournament at the end of it. So I really like it. I just need a little bit more details on logistics.
And when it does go to that World League, do you think it's going to be over numerous months, or is that going to be a shortened tournament?
It's going to be a shortened tournament. It said 1 week in each country. So I think it'll be kind of like a rotating sort of tournament over the course of like 4 or 5 weeks. And it'll be the way that they made it sound in the ESPN article, which we'll tweet out, which had some more details, is it'll be like almost like a just bonanza of soccer matches, like tons of matches just in a condensed week. And then they'll move on to, the next country and play another week. And so again, I really like it conceptually. It's just a matter of understanding more of the logistics of everything. So with that, let's keep this thing moving along. Let's talk about player from Europe, Santi Cazorla, who
Who?
has exactly, who has kind of fallen off the radar and who was incredibly talented. I was watching one of his highlights videos earlier this week and kind of forgot how good he really was. But for those who may not know, back in, I want to say it's September of 2016, he went out with just like an innocuous sort of just simple ankle injury for 3 weeks and ended up getting an infection in his ankle and has been out of action since then. He's supposed to be coming back in January now. Matt, did you know everything that was going on with Santi, and did you understand how serious all this was, or were you kind of like me and was kind of in the dark? And I was surprised at reading all this.
No, I knew he was still playing, or well, technically still on Arsenal, because I was actually I think I just like saw on Twitter earlier this year. So it was just randomly said like LOL Santi Cazorla still on the Arsenal or something like that. But like I didn't realize he had 8 surgeries. Like I knew he's been hurt for more than a year now. But I didn't realize he had 8 surgeries. And just like thinking about that sounds like there's just 8 surgeries. I can't believe he's trying to play again or wants to play again.
Yeah, that's the thing that's most impressive, or just the perseverance of him like fighting through all of that and still having a chance to come back. Christian, what about you? Hearing the story, were you following it all throughout the process?
I knew he was continually getting surgeries. I didn't know to the extent of how serious this injury was. I just remember when he first got injured, it wasn't really seen as something that serious. They expected him to be out maybe I think a month or two. I remember when it first happened. But we have not seen him since, and I don't know if you told us how long it was, but I feel like I have not seen him on the pitch in almost 2 years. And
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's been like a year and a half or so.
Yeah. I just feel really bad for him because he really was a linchpin in that Arsenal midfield, and he kept them moving a lot of the times. And he kind of freed up things for players like Ozil and Sanchez to work their magic. But regardless, they are still very quality players. I think having him just calm down the midfield and slow it down and being able to keep possession and making the right pass, Arsenal have missed that severely since he's been out. They have not replaced him at all. And I think when he comes back, you're going to see a different Arsenal team in that holding mid type of role.
Absolutely. Don't really have anything more to say other than some of those pictures were pretty gnarly that we'll tweet out. So, credit to him for just persevering through all that, and hopefully he can come back and be somewhat close to the player that he used to be. So awesome for him there.
Yeah, the only reason I knew he was still on Arsenal is from FIFA, to be completely honest with you.
FIFA's great. FIFA's great. Keeps us updated.
It does.
Sticking in England here, Slaven Bilic was let go as West Ham manager earlier today, Monday, November 6th, and is rumored to be replaced by David Moyes, the former Everton manager / Manchester United / Malaga. Where was he? Sociedad. Real Sociedad and Sunderland manager. So, Christian, what do you think about Bilic being let go? I mean, he was one of the most successful managers for West Ham in their at least Premier League history. He's had his struggles, but what do you think about them letting him go and then being replaced with David Moyes?
I think that letting him go, I was just listening to this on NBC Sports, so I'm just going to relay a lot of what they were saying. They were talking about how, why are you laughing?
Way to have your own opinions, Chris.
Well, I mean, I just agreed with their opinions, so I'm going to relay
I'm just joking.
I think that over the next 3 games, I think they were playing. I forget who they're playing. Damn, they're playing 3 teams towards the bottom of the table before
Okay.
they go into a run of I think Chelsea, City, and United. And I
Cakewalk.
think that going through, yeah, I think going into the 3 games that they're coming into, and now I really can't remember who they were. I wanted to say it's like Swansea, Everton, and Watford or someone like that. Not Watford because they're doing well. It is someone down in the bottom 15. I know that for a fact that they play 3 straight games. I think that he had every right to take over those 3 games. They're a chance for them to escape the relegation zone. And although they have conceded the most goals in the league up to this point, I think that he's earned the right to have a little bit of leeway in the league because of what he's done over the last couple of years. And I don't think David Moyes is really the right person to bring in the situation for what he's done over the last couple of clubs he's been at. He has not really shown too brightly. And I'm actually shocked that Everton did not bring him in because I heard a lot of rumors about that.
Yeah, but I think Everton is looking forward, and Moyes would have been a step backwards. Like, he was very good almost a decade ago for Everton, but since he's left, I don't know if he is the same manager that he was. I quickly looked up.
Yeah,
So I quickly looked
I was
up.
gonna
Sorry, I'll give
say.
you a sec. Watford. They're playing Watford, Leicester, and Everton. So you got 2 out of the
Okay.
3 correct. Go ahead. Continue.
I was gonna say that. Shoot. Oh yeah, Moyes knows the culture of Everton more than probably any manager out there. He was there for what, over 10 years, something like that.
But do they
It's
have the same culture? They have a new owner. They have a new sporting director. Like, is it the
I
same
know it's not
club?
the same players. I understand that, but I think that he does know the club, and regardless of who's in charge of the club, like as an owner and all that, the leaders of the team, I would say, not Heitinga, wow, Jagilka and Baines are still back there, and he had every right to come back and kind of work with them and try and build back up what they used to be
I
when
guess,
he was
but
there.
for me, I mean, I think they need to move on from Jagielka, as great as a player as he's been, and Baines isn't, spring chicken either. They need to start, just the way life works, especially in the Premier League. They need to start phasing those guys out and getting better, younger players that are, higher quality. But this conversation has morphed a little bit. Matt, what do you think about Bilic being let go at West Ham, Moyes taking over, all that?
I think it was probably time to go, considering who they got this summer and their expectations, and then everything that's kind of happened so far this season. And it wasn't looking good. They were underperforming in almost every game. So I think I think it was time that weaker teams these next 3 weeks. I think that's a good time for a new manager because you don't want a new manager going in against City, Chelsea, and United, because then that's just another 3 losses, or at least you're gonna drop points in probably 2 of those.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably time. And Moyes, I mean, there was nothing he could have done at Sunderland last year. Like, he came into the horrible situation.
Yeah, they're bottom of the
Started,
championship.
okay, championship's a very tough league. I don't know, but
Yes.
I think yeah, I don't know, but I didn't pay attention to what happened at Sunderland. But he came into a very tough situation. So I think he knows the Premier League, so he could do well there.
Yeah, no. I'm agreeing with you. He's not at Sunderland anymore. So what I was saying is that Sunderland's roster, which is still a lot of the same players that went down last year, is now bottom of the championship. So I'm agreeing with you that
Okay.
yeah, he came into a really rough situation. So I'm not really faulting him for that. It's just, United, I don't know if it was exactly the right fit for him, and he didn't do great with Sociedad either. So it's just a string of matches that I would have, a string of jobs that he's had that I don't know if he really deserved the right to take over at West Ham. I feel like it's I don't even know if it's a safe play. It's just sort of a predictable sort of thing. It was like either him or like Alan Pardew or Allardyce, and I guess those guys have a proven track record, but it would be nice to kind of see somebody else sort of. It would have been nice to see, not that he would ever take it, but then go after Sean Dyche, who's doing incredible things with Burnley or something like that.
But why are they not going after Ancelotti? He's the best manager that's out on the market right now. Nobody seems to be.
Carlos seems like a pretty laid back dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just kicked back and just collecting his, paycheck from Bayern or just enjoying his time off if he didn't take a settlement. He's pretty relaxed, and so he may not have wanted this type of challenge. I mean, at this point in Carlos' career, what incentive is for him to take that job? He's won Champions Leagues, he's won league titles. For him to take over a struggling West Ham side, I don't even know if money would be enough for him, right?
I guess not, but it is a new challenge that maybe he would be up for because he hasn't really dealt with that, and at least not that I can remember.
Yeah, maybe. Matt, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you guys got it.
Okay, good as always. All right, so that's the end of our first segment. You're going to hear a little bit of music, and then we're going to be right back with you in just a few seconds. Stick with us. All right, that was pretty good. Talk MLS playoffs, and then MLS playoffs, and then did you guys see the Josie Kleshin fight? That's a nice face.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Christian.
I didn't see the fight, but I watched the interview that you sent.
Okay. Did you see? Okay.
I kind of know what happened based off of what they were saying.
Okay. All right.
Was the video in that article? I didn't see it.
There was the incident was a little bit further down. That kind of where they first got their yellow cards, and then as long as you read it, I think that's fine.
I did.
Okay. Cool. Matt,
yeah,
ready?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Matt, I'm going to you first this time, okay?
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to segment 2. Jumping into things, but this time on this side of the Atlantic, we're going to talk MLS Cup playoffs here. So conference finals have been set. Toronto is going to be playing Columbus. Seattle is going to be playing Houston. Matt, are you surprised at who advanced out of the conference semifinals? Like, are you surprised at all that Columbus took down New York City or Houston took down Portland, or any other surprises, or are you sort of good with this?
I think the MLS is there's just so much parity in the league that almost like anything can happen, especially in the playoffs. I think pretty much everyone has a chance. Columbus, it's awesome with everything that's going on. It's awesome to see them going that far. And then, the Sounders seem like they're always, in this Final Four, always doing well. So I think, I don't know who's going to win, but I think it's going to be entertaining, at least from my perspective.
Way to go out on a limb there.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick a winner?
All right, Toronto, because all right, Giovinco I think is just so good, and I'm just gonna go with Toronto.
So Giovinco and Josie are suspended for the first leg against Columbus. Christian, do you have anything that you want to say?
I was just about to make that point.
Sorry.
So I'm glad
Right.
you did that.
Go ahead.
But I would pick, I'm going to say Toronto to win MLS Cup still. I just think that their depth and their overall quality is better than anyone else in the league. But I really am surprised at seeing Columbus, and they're playing with some pride because of, I think, all the stuff that's going down with their city, possibly losing the club. I think they got that added rejuvenation in the fans and the players, and they're really fighting for something right now. And if they were to win MLS Cup, you really got to stop and look and say, well, maybe we don't sell to, or I guess not sell, but move it to Austin.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like the cards have already been cast, or the die has been cast, whatever the right expression is there. Just reading a lot about what has been going on in Columbus with the owner sort of jacking up sponsorship prices so that nobody would pay. So it looks like their corporate sponsorships lower, underreporting attendance figures, all kinds of crazy stuff that they've been doing to make the business case for why they need to relocate. It's just kind of sickening and just so sad that that's going on. So I'm actually going to go and say Columbus, just team of destiny, is just going to ride this out and going to win. You know, as much as I think Toronto has the most talented roster in the league, playoffs aren't about who's the most talented. It's kind of who gets hot at the right time. And so I'm behind them. I was surprised to see Houston advance, especially given how poor they were last year. And, you know, they've had a decent roster turnover. They have, I believe, a new coach this year, a new manager. And so to have them take down Portland, who was the number 1 seed, I mean, the West was kind of all over the place this year, but I still didn't think that they would get by Portland, especially on the road when they needed a result, and they got one. So that was a bit of a surprise for me, but I am behind Columbus here to win it all.
I was just going to make a point that exactly what you made pretty much is that Houston are the biggest surprise to me this year. I did not really expect anything from them. And the fact that they've made it this far is impressive in its own right. But it did take away from us getting the Seattle-Portland championship game, pretty much rivalry. That would have been really something to watch.
Yeah, and I'm sure MLS business heads were pretty upset about that too, because they could have done a ton of marketing, and you know, I'm sure would have played up that whole rivalry as well. They should have, because that is one of the most fun rivalries and most intense ones in the league. So it's unfortunate, but congrats to all the 4 teams that have made it so far.
Yep.
Matt, anything you want to add here?
No, I think you guys got it.
Yeah, you're paying all the attention here. All right, let's keep talking MLS Cup playoffs and talk specifically the New York Red Bulls Toronto match. The second leg took place in Toronto yesterday, March 5th. Nope, not March. Not even close to March.
We're kind
November
of March.
5th.
It's like a little bit March, right?
Kind of March. Yeah. It's, you know, it's the weather. It's kind of like March weather. You know, that's probably what I was thinking.
It's like exactly the same as March. Yeah,
exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
There was an incident in the first half where Josie Altidore and Sasha Kleshtin kind of got into an argument, and then they got in each other's face, and Josie was up in Kleshtin's face, and Kleshtin kind of gave him a shove, and Josie flopped, as he's, you know, sometimes been known to do. And ultimately, they both got yellow cards from it. It was really intense the rest of the half. Then apparently at halftime, there was some sort of altercation in the tunnel. It's different conflicting reports on exactly what happened, but Josie and Kleshtin were each shown, I think, another yellow card or a straight red. Something happened where both teams had to play the second half with 10 men. Christian, did you see and hear about the incident? What were your thoughts upon hearing all this? Is this just 2 dudes who are jacked up because it's playoffs and, you know, just not thinking clearly, or is it, you know, something else going on here?
Okay, so I have not actually seen the incident yet, but I did read about it and I was watching interviews about it, so I do know what's going on with it.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Josie, 100%, when you said has been known to, he is definitely known to flop around. For someone of his size, that has driven, I know you and me both crazy over the years. So yep. I'll never get on board with that. So I understand the frustration with that from Kleshtin's point of view and any of the Red Bulls' point of view. But at this level and this type of scenario, your tempers are raised. And there's just an increase in testosterone that could lead to fights and all these arguments on the field. But I just think that at this level, you have to be more professional. It is your job to keep your head and make sure that your team is staying calm and getting to that next level. But they lost their cool. They're both on yellows, right? And then they got a second yellow for that, and it really cost I think it cost the Red Bulls losing their most dynamic creator on the field. And Josie is going to be missed by Toronto without Giovinco, especially. They don't have a real outlet striker now that those two really provide. And it's going to be tough, in my opinion, for them are they in Columbus first?
Yeah, they're in Columbus first.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, and I could see them coming out of there with a loss. I think they'll probably score a goal, and it wouldn't be more than a 1-goal loss for them. But they're going to be playing catch-up at home. And luckily, I guess they'll have Josie and Gio on some rest at that point.
Theoretically, so I would imagine Josie just gets the 1-game suspension. But, I mean, depending on what the reports say and whatnot, it's possible that he ends up getting suspended, even further. I would doubt it, but it's possible. Matt, what were your thoughts on, hearing this, seeing the incident? If you did see the incident, is this just two guys, two competitors just caught up in the playoff moment? Or is this, did they lose their cool? Did they let their teams down? What do you think? Matt. Hey, Matt. Matthew. Matt?
He's just literally looking around. He's not even kind of listening.
Yeah, I think it was just a normal, get in your face. Just two guys. Great. Hello?
Okay, you are so delayed.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Okay, whoa. All right.
Hello?
Oh, man, this is going to be funny if and when he ever catches
This is
up.
amazing. Oh, my God. What
Wait,
the
so I'm confused.
He's so delayed. It's insane.
Matt, how many fingers am I holding up?
Wait, so am I normal now?
How many fingers am I holding up?
1.
Okay, he's normal.
Was that
now.
Christian or Matt or Dave?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. I should have held up a different number. How many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, your screen is black.
Christian or Dave?
Say
oh my
Four.
god! Oh my god!
He's a little delayed. Yeah,
oh my god! Matt, can you get out and I'll reinvite you? Every week it's something.
There you go. Okay.
Oh my god, that was like
30 seconds at one point. He was behind. He was just looking around, just chilling.
Oh my god. I'm talking. That's what he said in the chat. All right. Sorry, everybody. Anyone who's watching on YouTube, just bear with us here as we're.
Yeah, all you guys watching live.
Yeah, all 0 of you. At least watching live. But if anybody's watching this in the future, just know we got through this. We got through this challenging time.
And you can too. Just stay.
And you can
stay with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just stick with us. Stick it out. You can do it. We believe in you.
Matt?
Hey, welcome back.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. All right. It sounds like you are in real time now.
Also sounds like you're throwing shit around the room.
Yes, he was. All right. Matt, are you good to say your piece on Josie and Sasha?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do you need me to set you up, or are you good to just start talking?
Set me up.
Okay, Matt, what about you? What were your thoughts on this whole Josie, Sasha situation? Is it just two competitors who are caught up in the playoff moments? Are they letting their teams down? What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I think it was just two guys who were just in the moment, very, hyped up on testosterone, just getting into it. Josie's flop was absolutely, yeah. Josie's flop was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so he shouldn't be doing that. But then the fight described in the tunnel at first, it seemed like it was like this crazy brawl, or like this crazy jumping of Josie out the door. And then they're saying like there's no punches being thrown. Yeah, it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah, Josie claimed he was choked and then he pushed the guy off or something like that. The funniest part, I don't know if either of you guys saw the actual tunnel video, but Michael Bradley just screaming, "Why are you even here?" He must have screamed it like 4 or 5 times, and it was hilarious. And yeah, some backstory, I guess the New York Red Bulls tunnel is kind of far away from the Toronto tunnel, and the guys shouldn't have even been there. But it was just funny just hearing him yelled at. I'm, on the kind of the same page as you guys. I think it was just two guys who got caught up in the moment and, ultimately kind of let their teams down. Both of them did. And, they may or may not pay for it. Sasha obviously did pay for it, and Josie's team may end up paying for it, and they need to be better. I know the stakes are high, but they're paid handsomely and need to rise above those emotions sometimes. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Christian, anything else you want to add here?
Nah, I think we got it.
Matt, is there anything you would like to add?
No, I think, you guys got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. With that, listeners, that is the end of our second segment. We're going to be coming back with our third segment right after this musical break. Stick around. All right. Matt, we still got you. That's good.
For now.
Yes. Okay, good. That's a pretty smile.
Oh, wow. Thanks. You too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty smile too, Christian.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I got this glass. I'm going to give it to Mom.
Okay. Well, you better hope she's not watching this.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Ready for the third segment, guys?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Wow. I guess we'll touch on U.S.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Men's national team.
That's what I thought.
This bitch giving me attitude over here.
Why is Siri chiming in?
Why did she just yell at me?
That's what I thought? Is that what she said?
She said that's what I thought.
Oh, man. All right. Matt's clearly not enjoying this as much as we are, but that was hilarious. All right. Ready for the third segment? It's going to be U.S. men's national team roster, which I don't understand why the roster still hasn't been announced, but still hasn't. And Detroit expansion bid, and then Kyle Martino running for president. Ready?
Yeah, I don't know about the Detroit thing, but whatever.
Okay.
You'll just give us a little thing.
Exactly. That's what I do. You're
the moderator. You don't really give us many good points. Yeah. You don't give a lot of good feedback, but you give the points out there.
Dance.
Dance, puppet, dance.
There you go. Welcome back, everyone, to our third and final segment. Jumping into things here, the U.S. men's national team has a upcoming friendly against Portugal, the reigning European champions, and the roster still hasn't been announced. Again, it's Monday, November 6th, and I would have thought the roster would have been announced, which is why I had it on the docket for us to discuss. So instead of talking about the actual roster, let's talk about players who we expect to be on there and who we maybe think or want on there. Matt, anyone in particular that you expect or want to be on the roster?
I want to see Zach Steffen on the roster, and probably because he's from the Philadelphia area. But I just want to see, the keepers. I feel like are both too old with Guzan and Howard. I think we just need to move on from them. I think there's I'm blanking on the other.
Horvath.
There's another. Yeah, him. I want to see those guys get into the national team. I feel like Howard is kind of done. I mean, he was probably our best goalie ever. And he's a great national team player, but I feel like he's just run his course, and I just want to see the goalie situation figured out.
Okay, so goalies in particular, you want to see change. I will say, with Steffen still being in the playoffs, I'd be surprised if they called him up, but I'm with you. I want to see him in a national team camp, so if it's not this one, I definitely want to see him in one soon. Christian, what about you? Any players in particular that you're looking for?
I would really like to see some of these young guns, these under 20 players who at this point, we need to just start believing in, because they need to get this first team experience, and playing against a team like Portugal is the perfect opportunity for them to step in and really make a difference, I think.
So do they have
Like
names?
players like
Go on.
players like Weston McKennie, I would really like to see. Matt Miazga, Eric Palmer Brown, those types of players who are playing in Europe, and they might not be getting a lot of minutes right now, but they're being trained at high levels in the top divisions of a lot of these countries. And I would like to honestly see players like Zimmerman and Hedges. They're two Dallas center backs, and center back has not been our strongest suit. Yeah, we haven't been playing our best two center backs, but I think we need to find our depth there. And playing two players from the same club, they're going to know how to play together already. And I think it would be really beneficial to us to have players like that.
Yeah, I would have said them as well if this would have been early in the 2017 year or last year. That Dallas just fell off a cliff right around the summertime, and that included their center backs. I don't think they played very well, so I'd be okay if they weren't called up. But I'm excited about Miazga. Palmer Brown hasn't been playing a ton for Sporting Kansas City, so I think it's a bit premature to call him up. I want to see Tyler Adams, though. I think he's been absolutely fantastic for Red Bulls. He's a leader out there. He's 18 years old, and he's one of their best players. In addition to the talent, just the leadership qualities that he brings. I also want to see this kid who plays for Monterrey, Jonathan Gonzalez, who apparently is 18-year-old boss in the midfield for Monterrey, the best team in Mexico, Liga MX. So I definitely want to see him on the roster. So those are some of the additional players that I'm hoping to see. So I don't know if we'll see them or not, but probably by the time you hear this, the roster will have been announced, and we may be proven right or wrong. But if not, I think the future is bright. What's up, Chris?
Somebody just texted me, did you hit a deer last night, or did I dream that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a day in the life.
Glad to hear you are paying attention.
I was listening, but I wanted to also throw out Lyndon Gooch. Do you think he still has a shot of making it to the U.S.?
All right, very professional, very professional. Yeah, that's a good shot. I mean, I haven't. Again, Sunderland's bottom of the championship, so if he is playing, I don't know how well he's doing. But I don't know. I was okay. I wasn't impressed by him at Sunderland. I think he's somebody who has physical traits. He runs hard, and it's tough for new players when they're playing for their first season in the Premier League. Like, I thought Harry Kane was terrible for a good 2 seasons, and clearly I was very, very wrong. So it's tough for me to judge Lyndon Gooch based on what I saw last year, and I haven't seen him this year. So I don't really know about him.
Yeah, but are you really impressed by anybody else that we have?
I was impressed by. Yeah, I was somewhat impressed with Paul Areola in certain instances, in certain matches. I think he had a couple pretty poor games for the U.S., but he had a couple good games. Oh, there was another winger who I can't remember who it was that's kind of young, that's up and coming, that I was impressed with, but I can't remember who it is right now.
What's Julian Green been up to?
He is on. He's on some second division team, so he got loaned out from Stuttgart. I don't think he was sold, but he got loaned out from Stuttgart, who's his team now. And I think he's getting some minutes, but again, he's not dominating or tearing up the league the way, Bobby Wood was when he was in the German second division. So, yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. But
yeah, I would like to see that, like, anybody over the age of 28 just completely move along.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because those players still have, yes, they underperformed and failed, quite frankly, in this qualifying cycle, but they have a ton of experience to bring to the table. So you don't want to completely alienate them, because then what happens is you have these young players who need to, if they just need to figure it all out for themselves, I don't know if that's always the best thing. And sometimes it's good to have those mentors in there to, even if it's just show them or tell them, how to handle certain situations. So I don't want to completely phase out the older generation, but we definitely do need to start bleeding in young players.
Okay, not every one of them, but I would say the majority of them need to go, and we need to bring in a manager who can work with the youth and bring them up.
Absolutely. Yep, couldn't agree more. Let's stick in American soccer, but talk about MLS and specifically the Detroit expansion bid. So, for those that don't know, Dan Gilbert and the other guy's name, I am completely blanking on. The owner of the Detroit Pistons. I don't remember his name. Matt, you're the basketball guy. Do you know his name?
No, I do not.
All right, whatever. So those two owners were working together to bring a expansion team to Detroit. They recently brought in the Ford family, who own the Detroit Lions, and instead of building a soccer-specific stadium in Detroit now, they want to play at Ford Field, which is built for football, has grass turf, and all of that. Christian, what do you think about Detroit sort of changing their bid, sort of in the middle or after all of the bids were due for MLS expansion? And what do you think about them playing in a football stadium? And I mean, so what do you think about them? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think his name's Tom Gores. Does that sound right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But I think that it's very risky to change your plan, especially when all of your expansion plans were really due already. And changing them now just makes you look like you didn't have it all figured out originally. And with to go to a football stadium, in my opinion, unless you are 100% sure that you're going to fill that up. The Ford Stadium is not a small stadium, obviously. No NFL stadiums I would consider small. Other than Atlanta, I haven't seen, I don't know, Seattle fill out their stadium every week. I think they do.
Well, no, not fill out,
No?
but they cover tarps, and at the end of the day, it's still soccer
not
being played in a football stadium.
Yeah, I know. I still just am not a fan of that. I like the soccer-specific stadiums. I think that they have a lot of culture, and that I just really like the way that they're built. And I just think for football stadiums and soccer stadiums, the turf gets eaten up throughout the year as well because there's two different teams playing on it. And at the end of the day, I don't like having these huge stadiums that are blocked off in certain sections. I think it kills the atmosphere, and when a stadium is built just to have a certain attendance and is smaller, I think it generates a different kind of sound and feel to it.
But is there something to be said of a football stadium is used 8 times a year? If the team makes the playoffs, maybe 12, right? And yeah, they may host a couple other events throughout the year, but is there something to be said for, God knows how much this Ford Field costs, but to put up $200 million to build a soccer-specific stadium, is that fair to, I don't know, the city of Detroit, or should they be making use of spaces that are already there?
No, I think Detroit could use a little renovation.
All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Matt, what do you think about this? I mean, so Christian, to your point, MLS is announcing the next 2 expansion franchises in about a month. And, the next 2 will be announced probably the next year. So it is risky to have the expansion bid be changed right now. Matt, what do you think about these changes?
Well, I think Detroit's going to be a dealing. They have 2 owners who are succeeding in.
Start again.
Start again?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Detroit's going to be decent because they have 2 owners who succeeded in other American sports working on the team together. So I think that's something the league's going to look at. And I think I don't have a problem playing in the football stadium. That stadium's robbed. You see that on social media around the world, the Atlanta Stadium for the soccer games, and even Seattle. I think that has a great atmosphere, better than a lot of some of the soccer-specific stadiums. So I think that it can be fine playing in the football stadium.
But so Atlanta and Seattle specifically were designed with soccer in mind. I don't know if Ford Field was designed specifically to accommodate soccer. So that I just straight don't know. I don't like that they would be playing indoors, and I don't like that it would be on turf. And I don't like that there likely would be football lines and all of that. And if need be, I would like them to have their own soccer-specific stadium outdoors, or at the very least have a natural field. But it's easy for me to say when it's not billions of dollars. There is an element of the Ford family has God knows how much money and adds an additional layer of credibility to this bid. Gilbert and Gores are billionaires in themselves, but Ford adds another billionaire to the mix. And so MLS may be tempted by just incorporating that ownership structure into their league. I personally would not like to see that. I think there are other more deserving markets and that have more of a grassroots commitment that I would like to see get in ahead of them. But that's just my 2 cents. Lastly, let's talk about the USSF, United States Soccer Federation presidential race, and a new person threw their hat into the ring earlier today or yesterday, and that was Kyle Martino, the NBC sports analyst for the EPL. So Kyle, former player, played for a number of years, retired. He was a Philadelphia Union actual color commentator for a couple of years before he went on to ESPN and NBC and all of that. So Christian, what do you think about Martino joining the race? Does he have a legit chance to win presidency? What do you think?
I do not think he has a legitimate chance. I don't think he's big enough of a name. He's a media guy in the Premier League. That's really all I see him as. And I don't think he probably has the plan to move us forward. I haven't really paid attention to what his stand on a lot of topics are, other than from what he said in interviews. But I just don't see him being the one to take us forward. He's a former player, correct?
Yeah, he's a former player, former national player.
I just don't think that he is one of the leaders that I would think can take us forward.
So what about Winalda?
When I think of soccer.
Do you think he's better?
I would think that Eric Winalda is better. Just from he's been around a little bit longer. From what I've been watching, I'm more comfortable with him. But I don't think either of them. I don't really like the idea of a player going in and being a president. Yeah, they are more inclined to make bigger changes, in my opinion, because they're in it, and you could see something really, really different with someone like that in charge. But I'm not huge on a player coming in and former player coming in.
Players. Yeah, but they're not just players. These guys have been embedded in American soccer and working in media, but they also I'm sure have tons of contacts in the front office staffs at the highest level. Now, where I don't know is kind of the mid and lower level. I don't know their relationships with the amateur soccer associations and any of the lower division teams. And so, from an administrator standpoint, so when you're running for president, would an administrator be better because maybe they have a better understanding how everything works? I don't know. But I am I'm interested to see how all of this is going to shake out. Matt, what about you? What do you think of all this? I think we lost Matt because his screen has been.
I think so too. Like it's been blank and it's silent. So
wait some time.
All right.
Nope, it moved. Matthew.
Matt? Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh man.
Matt.
You guys
Matthew.
hear me?
Oh my god.
Hello. How many fingers am I holding up?
How many fingers am I holding up? Oh my god. All right. Should we just
forget this one. Just go by it. Go. Yeah. Just go.
All right. Unfortunately, listeners, we lost Matt there, but I can assure you he has some great, awesome thoughts on that we will get at a later point. So with that brings us to the end of our podcast this week. Christian, anything else you wanted to mention on this topic or any others?
I do not believe so this week, no.
Okay, I wanted to quickly congratulate Andrea Pirlo on a fantastic career. He just retired from NYCFC after they were eliminated yesterday. He's obviously played on a number of big teams, ended up winning the World Cup with Italy. And so congrats to him. And also wanted to just shout out the Bayern legend, Lothar Matthaus, am I pronouncing that right?
Yep.
Came out and said that he wants Pulisic on Bayern. So that's pretty cool. Whether he goes or not doesn't matter. Just the fact that he cited Pulisic as being the best player for Dortmund.
Well,
against Bayern and
Did you watch that
he
game?
wants. I watched pieces of it.
He was so good.
Yeah, I saw highlights and he was pretty good. Matt, anything you wanted to add? No. Okay.
Nope.
Christian?
I was just going to say, I saw that Matthaus was saying that he's coming, or like he thinks that Pulisic could be a direct replacement for Robin, which is a huge statement to make.
Yeah. Yeah, Pulisic had a nice meg on Robin to set up
he sure did.
Dortmund's goal, so that was really nice. Christian, you want to recap our trivia question, and we will give our answers.
Trivia question this week is, what is Mourinho's goals for and goals against in his last 10 games away in the Premier League to the top 6?
Okay. Matt, do you want to give your guesses?
All right, I'm going to go goals for and 12 against.
How many for?
How many? Sorry. How many did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
How many goals for?
4 goals for, 12 goals against.
Okay, Matt guessed 4 goals for, 12 against. I'm going to say 3 goals for and 9 against. Christian?
He has 1 goal for in those 10 games. 1. And he has 12 against. Which I just find ridiculous. Yeah, which I find ridiculous that in over 900 minutes, that is, guys, they have scored 1 goal away.
He likes to park the bus.
It's just insane to me.
Yeah.
If you want to know, guess how many 0-0 draws were in there?
3.
Matt? Okay, Matt's not there. Okay. So
he's
just 5.
His internet. Yeah. 5? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's going to come in just late. I know it's going to pop in with a number.
Yep. All right.
With that, listeners, thank you for being here and for listening to us this week. We will tweet out all of the links to stories discussed here in the Twitter from our Bros Talking Soccer Twitter account, which is at BT Soccer Pod. We'll also have links to the stories in the show notes. If you want to get in contact with us, our email is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com. And everything was brought to you by FanFutsal, FanFutsal.com. Definitely go check that out. Christian and Matt, thank you guys for being here. Listeners, thank you for listening, and we will talk to you all next week. Thanks, guys. Bye. Dude, you were so close. What are you doing at the end?
I forgot. It was bothering me. I had to take it out. It was hurting.
Okay. All right. I guess we lost Matt.
Forgot.
Yeah, no worries. How much do headphones cost? Can you just buy a new pair?
I'm just lazy. It's not in the money.
Okay. All right. I guess All right. Bye, everybody on the podcast or everybody on YouTube. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you next week.
Bye.